Hey everybody, I haven't done an update video about who's been winning all these giveaways or answering very many questions online, so that's what this video is about. And I may or may not pick up this format depending on how you all like it, being that of doing a video questions and answers, picking out a couple questions and answering them in a video rather than just responding to a comment on the website. So let's get into it. First off, we had a giveaway for when we reached 1 million views. The winner of that was a user DJ788. So congratulations. My understanding is you've already been in contact with Wayne Metter over at A World for Change TV and Ink Readable Image and received your t-shirt. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope you get to wear it around wherever you go. Also, we did the 10,000 subscribers book and seed giveaway, and the winner of that was the user Mars Rover. Now Mars, I know that I told you I was going to give you some toothache plant seeds, but when it came time to mail a small packet of very small seeds, I just couldn't do it. So you got 3 more packs of seeds coming with it. I hope that you can do something with everything that I sent you, and I hope that you enjoy the book. I know that the publisher's already been in contact with you, and I'm sure they'll have that out to you in the mail really soon. So congratulations to the winners of the giveaway. I'm sure we'll have more giveaways coming up soon, but for now let's get into some questions and answers. Leslie Fox asked over on the Visitor's Workday video, what exactly do swales do and how? As quickly as I can explain it, swales are an earthwork feature on a property. It's something that you do where you disturb the soil one time to try and improve the soil over its lifetime. And what they do is stop surface flow water, bring it into a ditch where that water can then permeate slowly into the soil rather than leaving the water on the surface and letting it rush off. How do they do it? Well, by gravity. Simply said, a swale is a ditch with a hill on the downside of the hill. So you take the soil out of the ditch and put it on the downside. Now, it is more complicated than that. There's a right way to do it, but for the purpose of this discussion, that's what a swale is. We let the water roll downhill, hit the ditch, fill the ditch, and then slowly go into the soil so we can rejuvenate that soil and keep moisture in there for the plants longer. So I hope that gets you on the right track on understanding what a swale actually is. Stephen Bryant over on the 3-bag easy automatic chicken feeder video asked, he said he loves this, how long does it last? I'm guessing you're asking how long does the container itself last. I mean, it's all made out of plastic, so I guess it lasts as long as you take care of it and don't damage it physically. If you're asking how long the feed itself lasts, that clearly relates just to how many birds you have, what other forage they have access to, and many other different little variables like that. For us, we have about 12 ducks that have access to ours right now, and 3 bags of feed lasts a really long time. I probably open up the lid on that thing every 2 weeks and check and see whether or not I need to add a bag to top it off. It's really going to be dependent on how many birds you have, what other access to food they have, how active they are. Right now here in Mississippi, it's extremely hot, and most of our animals aren't eating hardly any food at all. They care more about the water than they do about the food. So I hope one of those answers is what you were looking for. Tim Kruger asked over on using the rear PTO video. He said that was unbelievably easy with your advice prior to that. I didn't think it was possible. Excellent, thanks again. You know, something about that PTO video, that was one of those things where I felt like an idiot. I had gone out there to work on my tractor. I couldn't figure out how to attach the PTO shaft to the drive on the tractor. Even after reading the darn manual, yes, there is a man out there that resorts to reading the manual, and I just couldn't figure it out. And finally, it clicked. So you can go over there and watch the video and see what I figured out. But what I love most about that video, that's probably the most positive video, comments-wise, that I have on YouTube. I don't know where it's getting propagated. I don't know how people are finding it, but it seems like maybe once a week or so I'll get a comment on that video where somebody says they struggled with it for a long time, found my video, and it fixed it in a few seconds. Thanks for the help. And that video right there keeps me motivated to make other videos, because it lets me know that somebody out there is being helped by something that I went through. And you can see it in so many videos where I say that the reason we started this channel was so you don't have to jump over as many hurdles as we had to jump over. So that video right there is leading the way in that mission. John Busby asked over on the greenhouse video about to buy or not to buy. He says, did you buy it? No, I did not buy the greenhouse. I made a counter offer to the guy after talking to several people who purchase greenhouses secondhand like that. I spoke to a few people that run CSAs. I spoke to some people in North Mississippi. I spoke to some people over in South Carolina. And your advice here on YouTube as well also got taken into account. And I made a guy the counter offer. I said, look, I don't think I really need the heater, so let's take that out of the bundle, and I'll give you $1,500 for the metal that you have here, because that's basically all I was getting out of it. And the guy said, no, I can't go that low. And I said, well, what's the lowest you're willing to even consider? And he said $2,500. So in other words, he was really only going to take off what he was trying to sell retail for that heater, and he wasn't going to go any further. So that was the end of our conversation, and no, I did not buy the greenhouse. Don B asks over on starting rotational grazing video, can you tell us what kind of fencing you used? I can. It's electrical net fencing. I'll start with that because you can find several different brands. However, I use Premier One Fence. They have a website where they offer a whole host of solar panel or solar powered electric fencing, and of course you could charge it however you like, but I use the solar, and they've got a really good solar electric charger, so look into that. Specifically, the fence that you saw in the video is item number 207120. It's one of their higher end chicken fences, which I said in the video, I believe I said it in that video, we bought that one because we felt it would be a good multi-purpose fence. So far, our experience is the only animal that it is not good for is a horse. The horse kept getting a hoof tangled in it and would cause a little bit of damage to the fence when it got a hoof tangled in it. It eventually, one time, got to the point where the horse got so tangled in it, she completely destroyed a section of fence. The horse was perfectly fine. We've now invested in a single poly wire on a reel system that we use to house the horse. So there's been some changes to that rotational grazing, and we'll bring that to you, I'm sure, in the future when you really see the system up and running. But Premier One, I really have been impressed with their customer service and their products. The only other problem we've had with that fencing is that our pigs are American guinea hogs. They're very low to the ground, and at their age right now, they seem to be able to get their snout under that bottom wire, which is not charged because it has ground contact. They'll get their nose under that bottom wire and just go right under the fence. The only way we've been able to keep them in is by using tent stakes every few feet, which is why the pigs are not a part of the rotational grazing system. It's just too much labor to try to bring up those tent stakes every time you move them every few days. So there you are. And Rich Roofer 1 asks over on rebuilding a hot compost pile. You never did a final video on the compost pile. Question. No, I did not do a final video because I never really kept following the system of trying to do a hot compost where you never add anything to it, you just use it at the end of 18 days. Instead, I did keep adding things to it, and it's actually still just sitting over there. It never really got to that 160-degree mark, and because of that, when I use that compost throughout the property, I've now got tomatoes and cucurbits popping up all over the place, which is fine for me, but not so fine if I ever wanted to market that compost. So still got some lessons to learn, mostly some time investment that's going to have to be involved when doing compost properly. And lastly, Leesville Aquaponics Homestead asks over on the duckling update video, so you're going to fill up your freezer with ducks. That is certainly the plan, is to fill up our freezer with ducks. We recently invested in one of those plucking machines I know there's a lot of DIY ones out there like the Whiz Bang plucker. We decided to buy a commercially produced one. It has the capacity and the engine power that we want to be able to even process turkeys. So we decided to do that. Plus my personal DIY skills, I'm just not comfortable investing in the motor and everything and then putting together a plastic tub. I'd rather just buy the thing outright and be done with it. So why did we do that? Well, ducks have a down, and it's really difficult to pluck by hand. It's a real pain in the neck is really all that it boils down to. You can sit there for what feels like hours plucking a single duck, and it's just not worth it when it boils down to it. Other people have used things like waxing in order to get duck down off of a duck, and we have tried that before and utterly failed at it, made a huge mess, ruined a pot with wax, and again, it just wasn't worth it to us. So we decided to invest in this plucker. We have not actually had the opportunity to use it yet because every time we have the time to heat up the scalder and do that, we're either out of town or it's a terrible thunderstorm outside. Like tomorrow is Saturday. I'm filming this on a Friday, and we're supposed to be able to do that tomorrow. But now the forecast has changed and there's an 80% chance of thunderstorms. So it just keeps getting delayed and delayed, which is a bad thing because the ducks just keep getting bigger because they're eating more and more feed, which costs more and more money. So it's a downside to it, but we'll get through it like everybody else does. So yes, the idea is to fill up the freezer with ducks. We currently have 7 moms still sitting on nests. We had another hatching of 13 ducks just a couple days ago. So we are currently not planning on selling any more ducklings this year unless things just get completely out of hand. Right now our focus is to process ducks and fill an entire chest freezer with ducks to get us through the winter. So that's it. Those are the questions that I had pulled out to do an update on. If you put a question in a video, let's see if this works. Let's see if I can pick out some good ones that I think I'd like to hear. Make sure everybody hears the answer to, and feature it in a video rather than just reply to you online. So if you ask a question and I don't type back right away, maybe I'm going to feature it in a video. Let's see how that works. I hope y'all are doing well. I know that there's been some requests out there for an update on the garden and things like that. I'm standing here in the corn, but it's not much to look at. I probably had about a, I don't know, 70% germination rate in here, so it's very spotty, and I'm worried about just how well the corn is going to get pollinated. That said, it is putting out ears, and they are starting to thicken up a little bit, so maybe things are going to go really well. My cowhorn okra, which is sitting right where the camera is, that's supposed to be like 14 feet tall, is about waist high. And I think that's just mostly a nutrition deficiency. This area was where the pigs, the chickens, and the horse had all pastured at one point, but I didn't do anything else to it. We've had very spotty rainfall, and I don't irrigate this area very frequently. So I think all of those things just combine to make some short okra that is still nonetheless putting out pods. We just enjoyed some okra last night with our supper, so you know, we're just going to take it with a grain of salt. But one thing we definitely need to do is an update on volunteers. I've got some volunteer plants around here that are just ridiculous. So stay tuned for that. I hope you all are doing really well. And as always, we'll see you next time.